Vamos a continuar ahora con nuestra siguiente mesa redonda. Niklas nos hablaba de alimentos naturales y vamos a ver cómo se van a producir esos alimentos en el futuro. Nuestra siguiente mesa trata sobre agricultura regenerativa y agricultura de precisión. Así que y vamos a ver cómo estas técnicas agrícolas pueden contribuir a que el sistema sea más eficiente y más sostenible. Me gustaría dar la bienvenida a su moderadora, Sharon Cittone, founder and CEO of Edible Planet Ventures. Sharon, welcome to the stage. Thank you. And I will let you to introduce the rest of the panelists. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Glad to be here today. Thank you to all the KM0 staff and Bea. So we're going to talk about regenerative agriculture and precision agriculture. We're going to talk about a better agriculture today. And I'd like to invite on stage my esteemed, I don't see them, Adrián Ferrero. I'm going to try, there you go, he was hidden. Jerónimo Romero. And José Ignacio Peleteiro. My Spanish is no good. So before we start talking about this important topic, I'm going to ask my fellow panelists to shortly just give a quick intro about who they are and what they do. I am Sharon Cittone. I'm the CEO and founder of Edible Planet Ventures. I do many, many other things. But this is about them, not about me. So please, Adrián.
Good morning. My name is Adrián Ferrero. I'm co-founder and CEO of Biome Makers. Biome Makers is a startup based in California, and we connect the life of the soil to the digital world. So in essence, we utilize one of the most interesting bioindicators in nature, which is the community of microbes populating the soil, and turn this information, this data, into recommendations for agronomists to manage the fields more sustainable.
Thank you.
So, hello everyone. I'm Jerónimo. I come from a farmer's family originally from Argentina, but I'm living abroad for the last 3 years. I worked always in startups, in business and sales operations. And during the pandemic, I also moved back to the farm and moved back to agriculture. That took me to Israel, where I worked for 2 years in venture capital, investing in agtech. And then I came to region agriculture. And what we do in the academy, basically, so we are part of a farm in the south of Spain, in Murcia, that we have 1,100 hectares of a region farm. And we created a foundation to give a framework to all the knowledge that we create within the farm, so we can educate more people, also connect with the research institutions, and basically build a better soil health.
Thank you.
Hello, thank you so much for having me today. I am Jota, CEO and founder of GROINN. We've been developing a device for collecting data from agricultural, can make decisions for the farmers or users to make better decisions to the problems we are facing now with environment. Let's use the fertilizers, water problems. Yeah, and we've been in the market 3-4 months ago, and we are a new company, but with our IP and patented technology, we are now trying to impact in the market.
Thank you so much to everybody. So, obviously, one of the biggest issues, one of the many, many issues we have today, but we talked about it yesterday, right? Our food is not as nutrient dense as 50 years ago. Actually, there was a study, 40% of the nutrients in our food have been depleted, and that largely comes from soil. So we can start maybe talking about that. And so, I mean, I guess how can we improve soil, right, at scale? And how can we then implement technologies and practices, like regenerative practices, into our, large scale, big ag, let's call it like that, right? So what has been, I guess, for you, Adrián, what have been the biggest challenges in integrating your solution today into the traditional farming practices?
I would say that we have always seen the soil as a part of the agriculture that doesn't have life, let's say, no? We just put a seed and the seed suddenly grows. And well, if we think how our grandparents used to waste the things that they were not using, it was just thrown into the soil and everything disappeared, right? So it's so good to see that soil health is a concept that is becoming more and more important, and everybody is more aware about this. And what is soil health? Because this is a recurrent question. Well, without going into technicalities about it, what is important, and the USDA defined it, only living things can be healthy. So if we think about the soil health, we have to think about the life of the soil. So if we start looking at the soil as a living entity, then we have the first step to move forward a better food production.
Indeed, also because just like us with our gut microbiome, you know, that is a very living thing, right?
Exactly the same, and at the same time, there is a difference. Humans change consumption habits. I mean, today we're in Valencia tasting amazing food. That is completely different than probably our usual diets. But in the field, we always treat in the same way, so it's even easier to drive the soil in a positive way.
Absolutely. And then obviously looking at soil health is just but a part of regenerative agriculture. And so based on, I guess, based on your experience, how can we integrate regenerative agriculture at scale? Everywhere, I would say.
Yeah. So first, well, I
And
agree with
what is it that it is? Maybe not everybody's clear on what regen ag is.
Yeah. So again, like I think in a nutshell, for us, it's soil health. So I fully agree with what you say. And for us, it's also soil. It's an asset. So as I said, we have the foundation that we are getting all this knowledge from the farm and taking out there. But also we have a farm. We have 1,100 hectares, and we manage also around 2,000 more. And for us, it's an asset. So if we don't focus on building soil health and building a better asset for the next year and the next year and the next year, basically we are losing our main capital of work. But beyond this asset and the soil, also we focus in regional agriculture to building a better agriculture environment with the people that work within the farm, people that work outside the farm, how we think about the business that we do, how we stack business. So we have, for example, aromatics, and now we're building a distillery. And then the idea is also to try to get as far as possible to the end consumer. And then we have cereals, and we're working with mills to process the cereals into flour. And within the farm, we have a winery. We're building now a huge building to have like entrepreneurs plus businesses and many things together. So we are trying also to build something that goes beyond agriculture. So now the average age of people working in the farm and in the foundation is between 25 and 35, I would say. And if you see in the area, so we are in Murcia, in the south of Murcia, most of the people, it's above 60 or 65. And farmers are also quite old. But because we are doing something that is also regenerative in that way, I think we are attracting a lot of talent from worldwide. So I think that's also for us regional agriculture. So it's focusing on soil, but it's also going beyond the soil and thinking how we are doing a business.
A holistic approach.
Yeah, and it's also looking like at the land and this ecosystem and in its complexities. It's not just like one land that's only it, so it's also integrated within the land. So we are also having a lot of diversity in what we do between the crops and how we manage it. So we're also hedging ourselves against possible bad outcomes or bad years. So we have maybe good cereals and bad aromatics, or good aromatics, bad cereals. So we're always trying to also find a balance. And if you look at our neighbors, they're always like betting only on one crop a year. So it's indeed also diversity and complexity. So also involves like switching a little bit your mindset.
Got it. And so how can we use data then to improve not just our profitability and our efficiencies, but sustainability?
Yeah, I think, like Adrián said, humans, we are always really, really good on when something is working really well and give us so much profit, we try to exploit it until we kill it. And soil is one of that aspects. that we saw that soil, you put something and this grow up, and if we put chemics, this will grow up more and we will have more profit. And at the end, that is a circle that will be finished, because now we are in that point that only using chemics will we not get a better quality of the product. You will maybe have more, but we are seeing now that we need to take care of the soil, and we believe that with data we can reduce the cost and keep the quality of the product, because this is very important, because obviously it's very good regenerative, try to take care of the environment, but farmers are the slaves of the supply chain of food. And at the end of the day, they need to have a profit. And if they don't have a profit, it's very difficult. They try to do good things for the environment, try to recover all the soil, and because it's their job. We see it like, okay, we need to move on, we need to take care of the planet, but at the end of the day, it's a business industry, and we need to give them all the alternatives and all the help with technology, farms trying to make more impact to the world. And I think with data, we can control everything. And before, we have a lot of data, we have a lot of technologies, but before, and it's not because we develop it, but before we have that technology to control that data, but wasn't precision and wasn't viable, because if you have a device that costs 10,000 euros, obviously the farmer, okay, can have in 1 hectare, but they will not have hundreds of devices. And I think our main point is make that data real, and we are that data to cover any type of land, because we will fit in the margins of the farmers. And I think with that, we can have a big change, and they will see by itself that taking care of the soil will be good for his profit margins. Indeed.
And I mean, this is a question, I guess, for everybody, and if you don't choose who speaks first, I'm going to choose for you. But obviously, we are in a society that, agriculture is focused on yield, right? The bigger, the better. And we are telling farmers that they always need to do better and more sustainable. Still, we live in a system that does not look at sustainability, right? We don't have even policies today that are truly, that you can count on, especially with regenerative farming. How do we transition that? What is needed?
I would say if yield is important, for sure. And if we look at how the agriculture has evolved, we've seen that we are reaching really good levels of performance in the field, and profitability is also crucial. So the farm operation has to be profitable, otherwise farmers will not be doing this and they will change the activity. So if we think that transitioning into regenerative agriculture means lowering the yield, that's not the way, because actually what we see is that we can keep pushing the yield forward while we optimize the cost of the operations. So we increase the profitability, the money in the pocket of the farmer, which at the end of the day is the main goal, no? To make money, to have food that is going into the food supply system. And regenerative agriculture practices, because this is the concept, no? We have data because we want to control and to know what to do. We learn from everything we've been doing in the last 15 million years. So there is a good knowledge that we're accumulating, but in the last 40 years, we are doing agriculture in a different way. So perhaps that model is not sustainable anymore, and we need to evolve the model, the way we farm. And this is how we see I see the regenerative agriculture as an evolution of the current production system.
We have to look back to go forward.
Biological center agriculture instead of chemical center agriculture. Yeah. We're in the biotechnology revolution, so this is the right moment.
And so if I have, obviously I'm a farmer and I have my land, right? And I am asked, though, to transition to regenerative agriculture. Part of that land will not be used or be profitable for a little bit of time, right? We need to transition, maybe, I'm asking you.
Yeah.
What can we do, I guess, also from a policy level, right? Because if we don't help farmers transition, we're asking them to do better and better, but we are not giving incentives and subsidies to the right farmers, in my opinion, being a little bit of throwing a little dart there. What's needed?
Yeah. So first, so I do believe that we need to get profit out of regional agriculture. It's not that a hippie thing that we want to do like in a small plot of like 1 hectare just to ourselves and to like dance and pray for rain. So that's where also we're doing it in 1,000 hectares plus like 2,000. So we want to show that it's something that you can do at scale. There's a lot of context-based approach, so it's not only something that you can do same here in Murcia or in Valencia or in Argentina or Australia. It's not that one solution fits all. So there's a lot of context. And in terms of transition and help to transition, I think that we need a lot of support. And the question is basically who is paying for the support. No, we've been pushing farmers, and I can also include myself as coming from a farmer's family, to do like a transition to this more extractive, like green revolution farming. I remember, like from my grandfather's farm, we had like this diversity of crops and livestock, a lot of integrations, and then it came to my uncle and my father to like one monocrop soybean, like 3,000 hectares of soybean. That's only it. And now we're telling again farmers, okay, we need to change to something different. So it also requires a change of mindset. So in that sense, and coming back to your question, I think we need support from different entities. So it's also private and public. So basically from food companies that are intaking our produce, if they're interested on getting better produce, and also them investing on their supply chain in the long term, they should pay for the cost of this transition with support, but also with money, or to help farmers to go over this gap of maybe 2-3 years they need to transition. And then from the public, of course, to get better incentives and to align incentives, so there is actually a will to change. We're seeing some of the things here, like in Spain now with corregímenes, for example. So we had like within the farm and done with the foundation, with the academy last week, a course that we did with 80 Foods about the corregímenes. We have like 40 farmers from around. And we have a course now, again tomorrow, with 80 Foods about introduction to regional agriculture. And we have like over 40 or 50 farmers coming. So there's a lot of interest. But basically, we need also to find a way to finance, to get support, and to learn how to speak with farmers. So also we learned over the last, many years, that you can't do a meeting maybe like this with farmers. You need to actually go to the farm and to show them how things work in the farm, in the soil, and talk like farmer to farmer. And that for us works a lot. So I think, we need to encourage more of that to get this transition.
Thank you. And let's talk about talking to farmers. Obviously, I think there is like a gap, especially with aging, like with older farmers, right? Because young farmers like, hey, I know how to read data, I know how to use an iPad. But obviously, older farmers are more set in their ways. They've been doing this for like 40 years. Oh, my father taught me how to mend the land. And yes, it's extractive, it's not restorative. How do you suppose we tackle that issue?
Yeah, this is a good point to talk, because, like Jerónimo said, you cannot, for every person, you need know how can you help them, and I think it's very important with the farmers, and obviously with all farmers, they are not really happy to implement technology, because we are in an industry that from day one, we was looking to the sky. If today was a big moon, no big moon. And I think it's very, very important be on the ground with them, show them how the technology is. And the most important, they see they can better profit, better quality of the products, because at the end is, like I said before, sorry for being again with this, but at the end it's an industry. We need profit for them. And I think this is the most important thing. I like farmers, like with 100 hectares of regenerative agriculture. I think is really important to, even for the governments, to can give that farmers the opportunity to see how it works, because I said so many times, it's really, really easy. I said, no, with big data, with our device, you will have that profit. We reduce 100,000 a year of the cost, and you will increment 50,000 each 100 hectares. It's really easy to say, but at the end of the day, farmers want to see it. You know, I want to see that results, and I think farmers like Jerónimo Farm, I think will be supported for governments, for all entities, because they are the point that they are making the change in the industry. Because if they don't see it in real life, it will be really, really difficult to they implement. Because you can explain wherever you want, but at the end of the day, you need to see how it works. See the crops are good, not good, and see the margins of the thing. And I think we are facing really, really more hard times than we expect, because it's a lot of problems around worldwide. We are looking at working in so many different countries, and we are now in Republic of Congo doing covering 90% of the land, because it's unbelievable how countries like with that land, and they have I think the better soil quality I see in my life in Republic of Congo, and they are importing all his food. And this is how you cannot control your country, because obviously some companies are different agents that they don't want to have that. But if you don't control your food, how you will control the country? Because if someone stops the food coming, will be finished your country. We see around the world that is a really, really big impact. Lucky, we are working with some organizations like United Nations and different organizations, non-profit, that are trying to help. But I think now governments start to realize how important is this data to them. Not only, and sorry for the data, but they are not really focused on, oh, we will take that data to help farmers. No. Now they are starting to realize that with that data they can control more things. And before, I think they don't realize that. But now they realize that they can have all the control of all the map. And I think now they are starting trying to invest that. But at the end, we need help for the farmers to implement all that new way of agriculture, because it's very good for everyone, and we need it, because food is getting so prices going up all the time, and if we not control that to have a sustainable way to produce the food, we will be paying more all the time.
Well, indeed, and obviously there's many different problems, right? Like the global north has its sets of problems, the global south has its sets of problems. And we still live in a world where we have slavery in agriculture. So, you know, in Congo, like the very difficult situations, but we need to find a path forward. So we are out of time. So before to close, actually, I wanted to ask each of you to just sum up with 1 or 2 words your vision for the future for better ag, for people and planet. Adrián.
We always say that better food, better soil, better life. We are connected to the soil, so let's start caring and taking care of it.
Thank you. Jerónimo.
First I want to invite you all. We have an open day in La Junquera like next week. But then our main goal is to bring back inspiration and to bring future generations to agriculture, and to show that there's a different way to do agriculture, and also to bring happiness back to being a farmer.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think our main goal in the next couple of years is involve younger farmers new in the industry, get people excited to invest in farming, because I think, obviously, if we are now the last farmers we are now working, we see like they are the last generation, and this is a little bit sad, because, you know, we will need food anyway. And our main goal is implement our technology worldwide, but try to give platforms to that young farmers, and we are trying now with our own bank that we already done have it, but we are trying to have a bank for farmers to can finance all that projects, but obviously this is a long wait. But yeah, that is our main goal, try to get excited the industry and try to involve young people, young investors to the farming world.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And yes, let's create a better standard for what is regenerative agriculture, more money, and definitely better farming with more data. Thank you, Dolphin.
Thank you.